Now, we are saved by grace, but we show that faith to the world by our good works, that we get out and we do something for Jesus. We change the way we live. We change what we do. And we don't have to wait until we've got it all figured out. We just let our light shine to a darkened and broken world. So if you have your Bibles with you, we're going to go ahead and go to Matthew chapter 5. We'll be starting in verse 13. Jesus says, "You are the salt." I don't like that color. "You are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet." Look at this. You are the salt of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. What did Jesus mean by this? Now, we could take our own modern interpretation of what salt is used for, right? Really, Jessica and I went to a cooking class for Valentine's Day once, and we learned something new about salt. We went to the cooking class, and we salted everything. Everything was salted. But the chef instructed us that salt was not intended to be tasted. And you're like, "Jeff, I love some good salt on my French fries, and I like to taste it." Well, the intention of salt is not to taste it. The intention of salt is to bring out the flavor of whatever it's applied to. Like, for example, how many people here like to eat salt on your watermelon? Okay, all right, that's good. I really thought I was going to be alone for a second. Sam gives me such a hard time about this. But the idea is I don't want salty watermelon. I want to enhance the flavor of the watermelon. And that's what salt does. Salt brings out the natural flavors that are already there. And so we could go with the same line of reasoning and think, well, Jesus is telling us to bring the good out of the world, right? That we are called to be applied to the world so that we can bring goodness out of the world. And I don't think that is an inaccurate translation. That's not an inaccurate interpretation, but I don't think it shows us the fullness of what Jesus is saying here in this moment. And that's because we don't really understand salt as it was applied to a first century context, like we're reading right now. So salt in Jesus' time was immensely valuable. So much so that Roman soldiers would often be paid in salt. In fact, the Latin word for salt is salarium, and that is where we get our English word salary. So salary literally comes from salt. You've probably heard the expression, "He's not worth his salt." This is where that expression comes from. Salt was a method of payment in this time. So salt was immensely valuable. And we might immediately go, do they just really like salty food? Like, what's the thing? Why are we paying people in salt? If you paid me in spices, I'd be pretty upset about it, right? See, salt was so valuable because salt wasn't just used to season food. It was used as a preservative. If you could imagine this first century context, you didn't have a nice GE refrigerator to throw your meat in when you got it. What you'd have to do is, instead of letting it just sit out in the heat, you would slather it in salt, and this would act as a preservative. So salt was used to prevent decay in something that you wanted to preserve. And so now when we realize Jesus is telling us to be the salt of the earth, he's not simply talking that we are a flavor to be applied to it. He's saying that we are to be the preservative that is applied to a broken, decaying world. That we are that which God, the creator of all things, is going to use to preserve a broken, decayed world. We are the preservative. He's talking to his followers here. He's talking to Christians. He's talking to individuals like you and I here, that not that you will be the salt of the earth. No, you are the salt of the earth. You are that which was put on the earth, in the earth, used as a preservative for the earth. How do we do that? By not being ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the power first to the Jew and then to the Gentile. We are the salt of the earth. We are the preservative when we are bold enough to go out and share the truth of the gospel with people who desperately need it because they're living in a broken, decayed world. We are called to go out and be the salt of the earth. But see, Jesus doesn't just stop right there. He actually keeps going. In verses 14 through 16, he says here, "Not only are you the salt of the earth, but you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket." Listen, we've had some weird power lately. How many of y'all took a flashlight and put your hand over it? No one? Then why do we do that with our faith? Why do we have such a bright light that is intended to be shown to the entire world, and we cup it and we'll let it out at church? But then we cup it when we get back to the workplace. We don't want anyone to see that light. We don't want anyone to think we're weird. We don't want anyone to think we're different. No, Jesus says, you don't light a lamp and put it under a basket. Why would you do that? You put it on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. We're not intended to keep our light to ourselves. We're intended to shine the light of Jesus to the entire world. That is our calling. That's how we're the light of the world, is because we shine the light of Jesus to the world. Verse 16, in the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your, listen to this, good works, and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. And right here, Jesus is calling us out. Not only are you the salt of the earth, but you are the light of the world. You are that light that provides light to a broken, dark world. And I'll be honest, if you've watched the news recently, or you've been on social media, or if you've opened your eyes, you've probably seen the world is pretty dark. The world is getting pretty bad, and there's a lot of people that think that evil is winning because the world is so dark. Well, you know what darkness needs? It needs light. You know, darkness doesn't actually exist, right? It's simply the absence of light. And so the world is only dark because there's a bunch of followers of Jesus that are shielding their light from the world. And when we live out the light that Jesus has called us to live out, when we put that light on a pedestal for the world to see, the world will be changed. And we are called to be that which is the light of the world, the salt of the earth. So let's go through that. Let's break that down real quick. How do we be salt? How do we be salt? First is we preserve the good. We preserve the good. We preserve the good by being the good. In every situation, in every workplace environment, in every friend group, in every relationship, we are called to be the ones that are above reproach. That we are called to be the ones that shuts down gossip, that sits with the person who's lonely, who provides for those who can't provide for themselves. We are called to preserve the good, to be charitable, to be gracious, to be merciful, to be filled with grace, to be a representation of Jesus to the world. Number one, we preserve the good. Number two, we enhance with grace. This means in disagreements, we are grace. In anger, we show grace. In arguments, we show grace. When we are persecuted, we show grace. When we are hated, we show grace. When Betty's talking trash on Facebook, we show grace. We enhance with grace. The world has plenty of hate. It shouldn't be coming from the most loving people in the world because we have the most loving God in the world. The world has enough hate. It has enough condescension. It has enough separation. We are called to be grace-filled and merciful. Number three is we prevent decay through truth. This is incredibly important. Grace and mercy doesn't mean we shield the truth. We don't shield the truth. We speak the truth in love. 1 Peter 3:15 says, always be willing to give a defense for the faith, but do so with gentleness and respect. We don't shield the truth. Whenever Jesus came up on someone who was caught in sin, he walked up on the woman caught in adultery, and he says, where have those gone who condemn you? Did no one condemn you? And he says, neither do I condemn you. But then he doesn't say, okay, go live your life. He says, go and sin no more. He still spoke truth in love. And in the same way, you and I are called to speak the truth in love. In love. We don't hinder the truth, we speak it, but we speak it with the love, the grace, and the mercy of Jesus. So next, how do we be the light? How do we be the light? First, live openly and authentically. What does Jesus say? We don't take a lamp and put it under a basket, but we put it on a pedestal. And in the same way, if there's people that you are close to, I'm not just going to say like everyone, but maybe there's people that you're close to and they don't know you're a Christian, I think we should maybe look at if we're living openly and authentically for Jesus. Because our faith should be at the forefront of our personality.
People should know relatively immediately that there's something different about you. That you don't tell the same jokes, and you don't talk the same way, and that you don't look at the same people in the same way all the other guys are, right? Like, there should be something different because your faith is being lived out in you, and it's not just a place you show up to on Sunday, but it is a faith that changes your everyday life. We are called to live openly and authentically. Number 2, shine with your actions. Listen, people will hear what you say, but they'll receive what you do, right? We can say one thing. I think we've all known probably a few people. I'm not saying you say names or point fingers or anything. We've all known a few people that say certain things and then don't act any of that out. Like, y'all know my dad was real big about this. He was always like, don't do as I do as I say. And I'm like, that doesn't really work because we're going to imitate those that are around us. And in the same way, we need to be imitations of Christ so that when people look at our actions, not just our words, when they're looking at our actions, they see Jesus. And we do this by being, as we've said, as being charitable, as being loving, as being merciful, as being gracious, not being like everyone else. We are to be salt. We are to be light. And the third one is illuminate hope in dark places. Illuminate hope in dark places. That at the end of the day, you are the hope in those dark places. What I mean is this. Have you ever had someone tell you about something, but they were miserable? They're like, no, try this like sleep routine. And then they're like, they drink 16 cups of coffee a day. Like, you're not going to listen to that person, right? Like, the person comes to you with the weight loss plan it's not super efficient, as you can tell, right? Like, you're not going to listen to that person, right? And in the same way, can you imagine this? No, really, guys, y'all should try this Jesus thing. Like, it's all right. You should come to church. They only go for like an hour, all right? Like, is that enticing? Do you want to attend that? I don't, and I'm the guy up here, right? Like, we need to be hope in dark places. We need to be the enthusiasm. We need to be the joy of Christ in some of the most hard places. Like when people are hurting, we're there praying over them. And when people are suffering, we're there providing for them. And when people are going through hard times, we are that is present, showing the love, grace, mercy of Jesus in their life. That's what it looks like to be hope in dark places. And I'm sure if we thought really hard about it, we could all probably think of somewhere right now that we could be the hope of Jesus in a dark place. It's what Jesus is calling us to. He's calling us to be salt. He's calling us to be light to a broken world. And we are called here to be salt and light with our mouth, with our story, and with our boldness. This is something we live out. Christianity is not a passive faith. It's not something you just show up to on Sunday and you're good for the rest of the week. You're called to action. In fact, Jesus says that they will know your Father in heaven by your good works. Your good works. Now, we are saved by grace, but we show that faith to the world by our good works, that we get out and we do something for Jesus. We change the way we live. We change what we do. And we don't have to wait until we've got it all figured out. We don't have to wait until the moment is perfect. We don't have to wait until people ask. We just let our light shine to a darkened and broken world.